Now let's catch you up on COVID-19 here in Indiana. There have been more than 850 new positive cases. The state reported that yesterday, and it's the second highest single day since this pandemic began. We've never had this many days in a row with new cases this high. That first one happened way back April 26th, and many of those cases, you may remember, were tied to the Tyson plant that had an outbreak. Also want to point out what's happened in the past week, and in looking in the trend, you can see we have been going up steadily since last Monday. You can see that line start to trend upward on the right-hand part of your screen. Monday, that's when there were more than 600 new coronavirus cases reported. The rest of the week saw more than 700 cases each day, and then again yesterday, over 800. And because of that trend we're seeing, the state's largest school system is delaying the start of classes by 2 weeks. The IPS board voted on that change earlier this weekend. So instead of starting August 3rd, students are going to now go back on the 17th. That means sports will also be delayed. About a quarter of all IPS students, about 8,500, have already decided they're not going back to school in person this year at all. They've already enrolled in the remote learning option. And as our Lauren Kostick tells us, the district says it is prepared to go completely virtual if needed.
As we inch closer to a new school year, last-minute changes are being made.
Since the time that we've been talking about reopening, we've always made a commitment that we will be flexible and responsive in our plans.
Saturday, Indianapolis Public School Board voted to delay school by 2 weeks, pushing its start date to August 17th. The vote coming after Superintendent Alicia Johnson made that recommendation at the board's annual retreat.
I believe it was prudent upon us to make a recommendation that we pause for 2 weeks, really in an effort to make sure that we are doing all we can as a community to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 and ensure that we are turning that line that is on an increasing trajectory down to a decreasing trajectory.
This week, Indiana saw an uptick in COVID-19 cases, with 855 reported on Saturday, one of the highest amounts we've seen in weeks. Currently, IPS is still offering two choices: in-person and remote learning. The new start date will give families more time to decide which program to enroll in. Superintendent Johnson says the district is prepared to go 100% virtual if needed, something we've seen other nearby districts do.
We can't be in a situation where children are, perpetually losing days of learning and instruction. And so it's incumbent upon us, again, once we reach that date, to be clear on what our next steps are going to be from a longer term perspective.
Right now, 8,500 students chose to enroll in the remote learning option as of Saturday morning, which is about 25% of all students. And the district is also anticipating some shifts in the upcoming academic calendar due to this delayed start.
And here's what we know so far about other districts. Washington Township will start the year online July 30th. The district will reevaluate the plan at every school board meeting going forward. Hamilton Southeastern starting its year virtually, at least through Labor Day. Franklin Community Schools in Johnson County delaying its start date until August 17th. Perry Township, Carmel, and Noblesville all plan to return on time with students wearing masks. The World Health Organization reports a new daily record in cases, more than 250,000 worldwide, and more than 10,000 of those were in the state of Florida. Florida's had a surge of 93,000 infections in just over a week. Doctors say hospitals there are overwhelmed.
Busier than we've ever been, sicker than we've ever been.
In Houston, Texas, the largest medical center in the world is overwhelmed, now at 104% ICU capacity. And 85 children under the age of 2 have tested positive for COVID-19 in just one Texas county.